I believe that these black holes we're looking into one of those things that when I talked earlier tonight, talking about just in cosmology, how they're now calculating the finite edges of the known physical universe and that it's no longer infinite. And they said that in mathematically reverse engineering the universe back to its what is referred to as the Big Bang, that there was no bang involved, that it just happened, that this matter, this energy just came from a point of singularity. Okay, if you equate just that understanding back to a black hole, as I am in my mind, as I both in remote viewing and multiple remote viewer, I mean, meaning classes of remote viewers looking at that kind of a target over decades, that I think there is some correlation or connection between that concept of our universe just becoming, like coming out of a point of singularity, and what is actually happening by what is being sucked into a black hole, and that on the other side of that, through the event horizon, what we have seen, again, we can't offer empirical evidence, we can only offer the anecdotal evidence of it, but what we have seen is that what goes into it comes out the other side and just blossoms back up again. So it is the degradation of it so that it can be consumed and spit through the other side, and then it can reassemble theoretically, or it can become again what it was before it went through that point of singularity, through the event horizon again.
So it's like regurgitated?
Yeah, it's just being pushed into another dimension. So it's being pushed into another dimension. It's being consumed here in this dimension, pushed into another dimension.
The energy is what
right,
whatever energy is being expelled.
The energy, the matter, everything that's being consumed. It's not just energy and it's not just matter. It's both, and they're being pulled apart and consumed. All of the matter, all of the gas, all of the energy, the heat energy, the light energy are being sucked into through the event horizon, and then we don't know where they go, but remote viewers looking on the other side saw things come through and then become what they were before they were destroyed on this side. So it's a movement from one dimension to another, and again, that's just our findings. We really can't prove it, obviously, but.
So why
that's
would
great. Zoe, I do want to make sure that we give time for
yes. That's fine. All right. Thank you so much, David. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. I'm sorry it took me so long to get to you.
That's okay, buddy. Thank you so much. I hope everything is well in Florida.
It is hot
Good
and
stuff.
steamy.
Thank you, Zoe. That was a great question, I must say. The black hole question. I was quietly applauding when you asked that. I was like, "Oh, that's a stellar question." So thank you for that.
Very good. Thank you.
And actually, that I'm based on another question that was asked too. I do want to clarify, because I have been curious about your perspective on this, based on everything that you've experienced through remote viewing. Your now idea and belief and essentially the non-physical, and what it really, what we are is ultimately, consciousness. And we can call that by a number of names, and religions have, and wisdom teachers have throughout time, whether it's, the soul, the spirit, what have you. But nonetheless, we are this eternal energy that, once created can't be destroyed. But if you don't believe, or haven't found any evidence in your remote viewing for reincarnation of the soul going to some other carbon-based meat suit somewhere else to live out another experience, then what do you believe to be the next phase of these things? Do you believe that we just transition back into that God source, if you will, that ultimate energy knowledge within the universe, that creator source that is there?
I didn't explain my answer well to you. What I have not ever found any evidence of, other than anecdotal and people drawing comparisons between faces. I don't know that we won't inhabit another human or humanoid or human form or something like that. I'm saying I don't have any evidence, and I don't personally ascribe to the idea that we would come back here, back to relive this. I believe that this life is a very purposeful life, and it exists for a reason, and it's finite for a reason. And when we leave here, job is done. Now we go to the next, and we may take on this same form. I don't know. Maybe it's a part of our species. So this is, no matter where we go, this is the form we will take. Coming back as a cow or as an ant or an earthworm or something like that, I just don't see it, and I don't understand why that would be part of any creator's plan if you just want to look at it that way either. To teach you what? Humility? That's not part of what's here. We're here for, to exercise free agency. There's more scriptures talking about that I can find than anything else. Again, I'm back on scripture again, and I don't normally ever talk about that to people, but free agency is a critical part of this existence. If you want to accept the fact that we came from a creator and we're placed here, then probably one of the most key elements of interpretive, guidance or explanation that are given in Scripture, and I already told you how little faith I put into Scripture, says that we are here to exercise free will or free agency. And there's a slight difference between the two. But what it means is we've been empowered with the right to make our decisions. We've also been empowered with the wisdom to know right from wrong. And so therefore, what we do to ourselves, what we do to our species, what we do to our planet, what we do, to everything is a manifestation or an expression of that free will and free agency. And if we destroy ourselves in the process by, exercising our free agency to do so, I don't think that it's punitive, but I think that there is, there's a lesson in the learning of that, of did we do well or did we not? And if we did not, why did we not do well? What were the things driving the global societal evolution that caused us to make all of the wrong choices, or many of the wrong choices, that caused us to, kill tens of millions of people in conflict, or, in a very short time from the beginning of the Industrial Revolution until now, begin to do the ecological damage that we've done to our fisheries, to our atmosphere, to our glaciers that are not going to come back, not in our lifetime, to all the other things that are there. I just take great solace and understanding and comfort in knowing that it's not the fault of something else. It's the fault of us in everything that we're looking at here. It's not the creator's fault. You can't blame cancer or being chosen for cancer or anything else on that. You can't. And I think that that's incorrect. And that, when I came to that awareness, it again added to this transformation for me. It was no longer a life of, laying blame on something else other than me and the decisions I made in the moment to moment. Decisions as a father or as a husband or as a friend or as a writer or as a teacher or other things. And I fail miserably often, but I get it, that I'm not here to learn how to blame. I am here to learn how to live an authentic life and how to make a difference in humanity in some way, however I can. That's what I'm here to do, to be loving and caring and empathic and as best I can, and to spend my life teaching and sharing what I know. That's why I'm here. And what happens in between now and the time I leave here, And, I'm 67 years old next month. So, yeah, how much, I can't have that much more time left. So I've really got a lot of stuff to do, right? I really do. And I'm so comfortable with that as opposed to constantly, going to someone and going, well, why did God do that? Or why did God kill him? Or why did God take my wife? Or why did God do this? And God had nothing to do with any of it at all. It wasn't his decision or her decision or its decision. It just wasn't. That's not part of the equation. It's a very simple process in being here. I guess maybe we could just be a colonizing experiment. I have no idea. It could be something like that. One of these days, I think I ought to write a book, and maybe I ought to get a bunch of remote viewers together, and we should make that a target session. We should actually go look to see what's next. Like, where do we go next? And we'll do it as a, blind or double blind extended remote viewing target and see what they come up with. I just have never had time, given all the other things we've been chasing around doing, to look at something like that. You would think I would have by now, right?
I have to say, I could not agree anymore with what you just said. And I think we talk about it in this room a lot, that ultimately we are the authors of our own reality, for better or worse, every second of every day. And we are a direct result of the impressioning that took place those first 10 formidable years of life, and a few influential or authoritative people that came along after those 10 years that told us what was and was not possible, and how things are. And it takes a very conscious effort to kind of undo some of that programming. But ultimately, if we take a very honest appraisal at our current situation that we are living in, we realize that we are the result of everything we thought we would be, for better or worse, usually for worse in many cases, just based on the way this fucked up world that we live in kind of operates.
We're so anchored in negativity. Yeah,
exactly. And that the most empowering thing is exactly what you said. And I'm wired such the same way. When you were even talking about your marriage early on, and I was a terrible husband, and it wasn't a good father, and she's right to leave me, and all this other stuff, this personal accountability and responsibility, that the only way to ever change or achieve anything in life, or ultimately I think really be respected truly, is to take ownership of everything. Because first and foremost, that is the only way you will ever really take power and control over your life. And your purpose here is by taking the blame and the excuses and the victim mentality that, oh, this happened to me and this is out of my control, versus, no, I have the control to change this, and I can and will, because suddenly then you have the power, and you are not dependent on somebody else or some institution or a God, whatever that may be. You are like the direct, author. You are the God of your reality. And yes, that means that you have to suck up your pride and your ego from time to time and be like, yeah, I fucked up. And this hole I'm in right now is because of my poor decision making and whatever else, or prioritizing or whatever. And then you can get out of it, because you finally take that responsibility. You're not blaming anybody else. You're like, all right, well, there we are. And now what? How do I get out? Now, how do I take that same control and that same responsibility to change this into what I want it to be? And it's a very powerful thing that I think the world desperately needs, especially the generation coming up, is to take that power back and not let this victimization and this constant blaming of other people, groups, or whatever it may be, the government, and just realize that you have the ability to change it, and you can, and you are responsible for that reality. That is your free will. That is your free choice. And I couldn't agree more, and very happy that you said that. So thank you for that, Dave.
Of course.
Hugo, my man, take us home. You are up. Oh, hey, you made it all the way to the end. Me too. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please make sure that you like, subscribe, comment, share with all of your friends across every social media platform. And then if you have time, go to nateknighttalks.com and join the NNT community and research database if you have time and the resources and want to support what I'm doing here.